All right. Good morning, everyone. So it's got to my desk here. What the market is up to. Not sure if you guys remember the live stream from yesterday. I had a live stream on the fibers with Anastasia. We looked at this ascending triangle here on gold. Honestly, I think not very often you see such a perfect pattern like this one. Absolutely picture perfect. And I've closed this one for a profit. And if we go back to daily, you can see that my overall plan here for gold is active. I got a few positions open. Let's see if I can. Yeah, that's the original position, right? So I have a few different positions here. If I can find them for you here and can go through each of the positions, and I will explain when I took the trades and when I added to the positions and everything. To double check my positions here across the different platforms. As you guys know, I'm using a main account, and I got that connected to a couple of copy traders. This month has been one of my best months this year. Mostly based on the trades taken throughout this week. Let's see if I can show you guys some statistics on on the trading, statistics on the actual trades. I'm gonna set that up. How you guys doing, by the way? Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know in the comments where you're from. Always curious to hear. So this month we're up about 7R, which is quite good because I've only risked about 2 or 3R. So that's actually very good. Been able to add to the positions very nicely. and not all the trades are closed either. So there's a few of the trades still open. But yeah, it's been a rather fantastic week with Trump. I think it's amazing price action. You know, sometimes the this type of price action is gonna come along, and you just have to be there. You know, have when you have the conviction, you have to go with it. Increase risk, take those trades if you have strong conviction on a move, and I'm gonna explain what that move was and the conviction that I had. Awesome. Ukraine, welcome from Ukraine. Germany seems your economy not doing very well, it seems. But I thank you for that. Big reason for me shorting the EU. Okay, let's take a look at the overall bias here. And let's see if it still holds true. Right, so we go to the dollar currency index right here. We see that the positive correlation is still here, I would say. Yes, the S&P 500 is lagging behind on this move, but overall the positive correlation between the S&P 500 and dollar strength is still here, and we are of course looking for the 2016 correlation to repeat itself this time around. So that's this one right here, and you can see that there's been instances where the correlation has not been perfect, right? You can see, for example, here where S&P 500 were ranging, and during this range you had an up move on the dollar currency index. So there is of course instances where this correlation is not really complete, and actually I think that's around the time where the correlation actually kind of breaks, you know, because the S&P 500 started ranging while the dollar currency index had to move up, and then it started ranging, and then it went down. Then you had that correlation again. So it's not really until around April when the correlation really shifted rapidly, you know, we can see like it's an obvious inverse correlation. So I believe we still have I believe the idea is still on. The bias is still very much active here. So that's the general idea. That's the first thing I thought that kind of sparked my interest in this idea. And then if we look at the dollar currency index, I'm obviously betting on dollar strength here, while we also see risk on assets showing us that strength as well. And that's the correlation, right? So if we look at this chart here, you see the dollar going up while the S&P 500 is also going up. So you have a correlation between dollar strength and risk on, which normally is not the case, because normally The US dollar is seen as a safe haven asset, which goes up while risk goes down. Risk on means people are looking to add risk to their positions. And in that scenario, safe haven assets like the dollar usually declines because people are buying risk assets with the dollar a lot of times. And also they're not as interested in holding cash or buying bonds and things like that, where they get interest payments. When the interest rate goes up, they'll make more payments from the interest. So it's that you want to be holding cash in that scenario. And also with interest rates going up, borrowing money becomes more expensive. When you have interest rates going down, money becomes cheaper to borrow. So you can borrow more money, buy houses, borrow money, buy assets, whatever, right? It gets the economy going. And in that scenario, risk assets like stocks and Bitcoin and things like that is usually going up. And right now we're seeing both of these two normally inverse correlated assets go up at the same time. Speaking of risk assets, let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is the BTC USD versus the total market cap. Excluding the top 10, we see that Bitcoin is absolutely crushing it. It's just continuing to move higher as we speak. We're seeing a push to the upside right now. There's a lot of volatility in Bitcoin right at this very moment, but we see right here that we have the market cap, the crypto or altcoin market cap is lagging behind a little bit here. If we go to the others dominance chart, this gives us the altcoin dominance, which shows us that money is flowing out of altcoins into Bitcoin and the large cap cryptos. If we look at total 3 right here, we see that we are now seeing the total. So total 3 is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah. So we are now seeing a breakout on the market cap for altcoins. Looking very good. See this continue higher, looking very, very strong. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. We're trading at 91,000. We're above 90. We had obviously a candle close, a daily candle close above 90. And it seems like we're basically just, yeah, we're moving higher with very strong price action right here. And as you can see, we do have the MVRVC score was in the buy zone right here. This is when we started accumulating Bitcoin, right? This is in the accumulation phase right here. And then of course we have one of the public participation phases right here. We then had a reaccumulation here, breakout. Now we have I believe the real public participation phase. And this is where you have to look out for extreme levels of euphoria and greed, because that will be the top. And I do believe that we are going to see the top when the MVRVC score reaches the 5 mark around this level down here. Let me extend this a little bit so you can see more clearly what I'm looking at. So we are going to put an alert on the MVRVC score right at this very moment right there. Let's see. I don't know like if this alert is gonna work, but we'll see. I think it's gonna work. Maybe we can do this though. Maybe we can put a level on here. And then on that, we can perhaps create can we create a alert on that horizontal? Never mind, doesn't matter. Do we have upside? I think we are going to reach 100K within maybe today even, you know, I mean, within the next few days. If not today, if not tomorrow, probably over the weekend. And ultimately, I do think we're going to reach that 150 to 200,000 per Bitcoin, which is actually from current prices a 100% move to the upside, which is absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking to, yeah, I mean, the upper areas here is going to be like a 120% move to the upside, which I think will happen, which is just absolutely insane to think about something that is rallying crazy and breaking out, and now we're talking about possible 100% move to the upside after making this move. And that's not something I'm saying is because it's moving. I've been telling you guys about that for a very long time, and I think it's actually quite likely that that will happen within the next few months. Let's take a look at the VIX. Wow. VIX is actually breaking lower. Let's put the Bitcoin chart on here, and we can see that most of the it's crazy though, but because whenever, like when there's an actual high, or when there's when the VIX is low, so we can mark out every high on Bitcoin. We're gonna mark it out right here. So that's a high, and then that's a high, and that's a high right there. So if we zoom in here, so we can see right here at every high on Bitcoin, we do see that the VIX is down at the lows. We get another high here, and then the VIX is at the lows. Another high, low area here, and not really, but it's still a dip here. Now, the VIX is obviously very, very low here, which tells us that there's low implied volatility, which to me is very interesting. Okay. If you look at the VIX, I mean, this is a way to, a lot of people call it the fear index, where I guess it kind of makes sense because when you do have a risk on move, there's less implied volatility. So people are seeing, you know, people are less, but we could also see it as an indicator of perhaps greed. Perhaps people are getting a little bit too, we're going a little bit too much into a level of confidence here, because now we see that the VIX is the VIX is reaching levels that we haven't seen in this summer in July. So we're hitting really low numbers. So we're down at the extremes here. These are definitely extreme lows. This is the the old normal, if you will. So very extreme lows. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops. So when I look at an update on the trades that we currently have, these are the this is the Euro USD position that opened a new one tomorrow on that break lower. find the first short. I'm gonna see if I can find that. The first trade I had open on EU was here, where we hit that 50, so around this time, and stops would be up here. That position is still open, and that is based on the fact that there is a correlation between dollar strength and risk. While if we look at the Eurozone, it's a fairly weak market for the euro right now, and we have a very weak UK economy, and we have the German economy being, there's a lot of uncertainty. It's a weak economy and there's a lot of certainty. We do have elections coming up in February. I do think that we're going to see weakness in the euro at least in the next 2 months or so, which is this play is based on. So that's obviously short on euro USD. And if we look at, if we apply the dollar currency index here, you can obviously see that it's pretty much the same chart but in reversed. Okay, so if we do this, you will see that it's basically the same. So if I invert Euro USD and put it on top of dollar currency index, you see that it's pretty much the same chart, right? You can see that it's a very obvious correlation between the dollar currency index and the Euro USD. And the reason for this is the dollar currency index takes a basket of currencies and compare it to the dollar to determine the strength of the dollar. Now, of course, Euro USD is one of the most traded currency, and obviously the most traded currency against the dollar, and the Euro USD is about 57% of that basket of currencies. So it's very much weighted towards the Euro USD. So you can, in most cases, just look at Euro USD as a way to determine dollar strength. Now, I'm not able to trade the dollar currency index, so I'm trading Euro USD. Now, if I could trade the dollar currency index, I might just trade that directly, but I'm pretty sure I don't have access to that on the Fivers. And if I do, the liquidity on Euro USD it's the most liquid asset in the world. It's just a much better asset to trade, basically. That's Euro USD. I gotta see what where I have my stop losses right now. Go to Euro USD. Right now for Euro USD, I got my stop loss around this area here. Is the 333, and then I have another stop loss. Okay, so that's 333. Beat that one, and then I have another stop loss for a bigger position. At 77.17, which is up here. So I might just move that down to that level. I'm gonna change the TP on that, or I'm gonna change the stop loss on that position. And that's the first position that I have open, and I am also considering moving stop loss to this level to really lock in some gains. But I'm not going to make a decision on that right now. I think I need to do some more analysis on that, but that would mean putting the stop loss above that daily high around that area. Now let's see, does it make sense to have a stop loss here? Yeah, I think it absolutely makes sense, because if you look at, we've lost this level. If I extend this here, it's a very clear level, and that would then mean that the stop loss as well. Yeah, so that makes perfect sense to have the stop loss in that area. Even on, I think even on a weekly, it makes sense. So yeah, I think it's time to move that stop loss down. Actually, I think we should put it probably. Put it here, going to look at the numbers, where do we want to put it? Maybe 40, 42. I'm going to update everyone in the Discord as well. If you're not in the Discord, you can check the description of the video. I have a free part as well. But if you want to get all the updates, all the setups, everything like that, there is a 50% discount code in the description of this video, which will also give you about 75% profits. Not profits, goddamn it! 75% discount on the yearly plan, which means you're paying like $10 a month to get access to the RSZ Slingshot indicator, which is this indicator right here, which gave us the long signal here on the Bitcoin prior to the breakout. So that's the RSZ Slingshot indicator. You also get access to my full trading course, 2 courses, 1 course on the RSZ Slingshot indicator, how to use it, and also one big trading course that has about 40, I think 40 different modules to explain the RSZ method, one way that I'm trading the trend following system. So check that out. And I'm in the process of making some major changes to the community. I think will be very beneficial to everyone in. And let me know in the comments. I'm thinking, I do see that there's a big interest in, a lot of people are using Telegram. So I want your advice here. I want to make sure that I deliver my analysis to you in the best possible way, in the easiest possible way. And I'm thinking about perhaps opening a Telegram channel where I'm just gonna put out all my analysis into that channel, so you'll have one place to see all my updates, all my fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and look at all the basically everything that I do. Put that into Telegram, because right now I feel like Twitter is not the best form to use it for. Twitter is just not the perfect place for that, and Discord is more of a community, but I'm lacking a single one place where I can yeah, I think Discord plus Telegram is good. I think Discord plus Telegram is good, where you have like Discord being the community. What's up, Sag Vela? What's up, man? Welcome. Yeah, I think, Discord, having Discord as a community where we can talk about things and things like that, and then having Telegram as the more of a channel where I can put out the analysis. Let's go. So let's go into, I'm going to go into EU and just modify stop loss. The thing is, this position that I have open right here is a much bigger position than what I usually put on, because I have some serious conviction with this trade. And well, not serious conviction, but the general idea that I have for EU is, you know, with the CPI yesterday, the CPI numbers came out as expected, and I had this idea that if the CPI numbers comes out as expected, we're going to see continuation of the move that we're seeing, and obviously that's exactly what we're getting right now. But because of the fact that I'm obviously putting on more risk on this trade than what I normally do, there's of course some, not pressure, I wouldn't say I'm very pressured, but there's some, I need to have a different approach to how I'm handling this position. But it's pretty cool to see that, considering the fact that I entered up here, we're in like almost 250 pips profit on this EU short position up here. And of course I have this position open as well, and I'm actually thinking about closing this one. Going to be 0.87 R, and I'm actually thinking about taking profits on that one, which I opened here, because obviously taking profit on that one will pay for a lot of the loser of that one. So it's sort of like taking profit on that one to sort of hedge against the loss. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to close that one. Yeah, that's perfect. But this position is actually too big. Now, going through when I'm actually risking on this trade, I do feel that I risk a little bit too much. We have to talk about gold though. We have to talk about gold, because I closed this one this morning. This is just probably one of the most beautiful ascending triangles and trades that I took in a long time. Made a lot of money on this one. So the trade was, I believe I entered the trade here. I had my stops above these highs, and then I took profit this morning, which was around 7, so down here, 2.6 R trade. Now I did actually risk a little bit more on this one as well. You know, I did actually risk quite a lot on this one, which is just amazing to see this play out. Yeah, sure. Let me know any questions you have. That's a great question. That is a great question, and I will make sure to cover that. Just gonna see if I can make some adjustments here. I feel like I have to secure this position, because it's actually a bit too big. But if it hits TP, it will be probably one of my biggest win of the year. And that's the thing, like I'll make several monthly salaries on this trade alone if it hits TP. So And trading this year for me haven't been perfect, but being able to make back several months of bad trading in one trade, that's what I love about trading. That's what I love about especially swing trading. Okay, so I have to manage the trade on this one. Let's see, where do I have the entry? So the entry is, that's my entry. I got my stop loss down here. So I think maybe the stop loss is, what is the stop loss based on? It's all the way down here. I think for a trade like this, now that I'm looking at tighter stop losses, I probably have to I mean, the thing is, I do have conviction in this trade. I do think we're going to move lower, but I don't think we're going to move lower without a bounce. And I don't want to see that bounce take me out of the position without me making money on the idea. I do actually have a position open on gold. I'm gonna close the position on gold, because if you look at the overall idea on gold, the overall idea I had on gold is basically this one. No, I think it's a higher entry. No, it's this one. So I have this one open right now, and there's a really good support right here. And I feel like a lot of times the most obvious level is getting front run on gold. And we're right inside the reload zone right now as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take profits on gold, so I'm gonna close that gold trade. I think I have like a 90% win rate in this week. Okay, we see EU is moving lower. Okay, so that's the gold trade. Took some profits on that one. So right now I have 2 positions open on USD CHF and one short on Euro USD. So we got. It's a great question, Zach. I'm gonna answer that as well. I just have to manage my position. So right now we have USD CHF open, and I might actually start adding to this position because it looks really strong. Looks really strong. Because obviously, if you look at the the general idea is confirmed. We do, however, we are approaching a significant resistance area here, which I'm thinking this resistance area might provide us with a pullback, and that pullback might provide me with a better entry. But you see that there's nothing stopping this move. I mean, if you look at the daily, there's like this whole area is that zone, and we're entering it now, but it seems like it really wants to continue to move higher. Looking at the daily, I mean, maybe the 4 is better. So on the 4 hour, we obviously have a good level here. And what does that look on the daily? That's the daily low. So I'm gonna move my stops to this level here to secure the losses of this trade. Because again, remember, I have a fairly big position short on EU, and I want to make sure that I take that loss into consideration when calculating my open risk that I have here in the other positions. 67, I'm gonna move stops to 67 on euro on USD CHF. Look at USD CHF. What would the loss be here? Very good, very good, very small loss here. I'm not looking at a lot of profits either. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at adding to this position. I will copy that one, remove this one. Look at entry here. Look at that as my stop loss. Where's the TP at? So we got the highs right here. I think we obviously we want to see USD CHF in the next few weeks continue to the range highs. Front running that area like that would be a good idea. This would now be a above 3R. Now the question is, I obviously want to be able to scale into this position. But to understand how much I'm going to risk on this trade, I need to first calculate my open risk. And how do I calculate my open risk? What I do is and I'm always calculating this based on the balance and not the equity. Right now the balance is 163,000. I had to look at the difference between the current balance and my stop out level. I take that difference divided by 10, and that number is my risk per trade. And then because I'm going to scale into this position and have perhaps 2 positions, I take that number divided by 2. Okay, let's see. According to my calculations, I can risk about $400 on my next trade. And then because I'm going to divide that $400 into 2 positions, that would be $200 each. And I would make 12 1200 on this trade. That's small risk. Now imagine I have way more risk on the euro short, which is like a much bigger trade. And look at euro USD. It's absolutely dying here. It's yeah, wow. Holy shit, you know, it's I feel like I've played this movie as perfectly. I've played this movie as perfectly. It's such a nice feeling after having months of just price action not making any sense and trying to get into positions, and then boom, you have this. It's just absolutely just a wonderful feeling. Okay, back to USD CHF. Top liquid, yeah, it is. It is insane. And it's not about the win rate. It's about the trade management. It's really about the risk to reward and about the trade management. It's really about the money, like the amount of money. It's like you can have 90% win rate, but if you're not risking enough, if you don't have convictions on your trade ideas, then you know you can't make money on that. I mean, if you can't transform that 90% to a lot of money, then you know what good is 90% win rate. Just want to make sure that I've done all the calculations correctly. Okay. Do that. Okay, so I'm about to open a third position here on USD CHF. And then after that, I'm going to go get some coffee, and then I'll make sure to go into all your questions. One of the most important things to do here is not to not become overly excited, become overconfident, and start taking bad trades. I think the biggest problem is adding too much risk, basically. I mean, look at the 4 hour here. I do think that, I mean, we are at resistance. I do think it's likely to see a pullback, so I'm not going to enter full risk on USD CHF, and I already have a risk on, obviously. But that's it. I've entered that third position. So now I only have EU short and USD CHF long. EU is moving lower. If we start move even lower here, I think we can start moving that stop loss again. It would be really insane feeling if I'm able to secure this trade. You know, secure this trade completely without, like, in a good technical sense as well. I do not trade indices. I do not trade NAS or the DAX. I kind of want to, though. I feel like I would like to explore the idea of being a, long only equities trader, because the S&P 500, it kind of has a kind of designed to always go up, Now that might sound weird, but it has this survival bias built within. So poorly performing stocks do get replaced with better ones. So the S&P 500 has an underlying force to the upside. Not only because equities are generally bullish, as you can see by looking at the history of the S&P 500. Generally, the markets are growing, markets are improving, the equity markets are moving higher. Not only that, but you also have that bias within the S&P 500 called the survival bias that kind of pushes it upside. So being a long only like indice trader, yeah, there's just being long only feels like an edge in of itself. So sorry if I'm quiet, I'm just trying to calculate some things here. Yeah, I mean, if you have a short system that works, of course it works. It's just that, and I'm not trading in this, I don't know. And of course, if you're trading a completely technical system, of course, that's something like that will work. But as a swing trader looking at the higher time frames, and like I said, you're trading the 3-minute and 10-minute. And if I'm looking at the higher time frames as a swing trader, I'm just looking at the break and retest to the upside on the S&P 500 and thinking, that's where the money is. Can you please share any gold strategy for day trader? Yeah, I can break it down. I can break down my strategy for trading gold, and it's the same as it's basically the same as with any markets. But first, I'm gonna take a quick break. And guys, if you like these trades, if you like these types of analysis and this live trading, you make sure that you check the link in the description, because right now I do have a 50% discount on the RZ exclusive community, where you get access to the RZ Slingshot indicator and everything like that. And on the yearly plan, you're gonna get a 75% discount. So it's very, very cheap right now. Let me I'm gonna be back in just a minute. I gotta get some coffee. See if I can get this to work. Is there a sound playing? Oh wait, really? I have to look that up. Is there actually sound on that countdown? Wow, that's a terrible sound. That's like, wow, I can't believe I had that on when starting live stream. That is so stupid. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Not a minute. I'll be back soon. All right. Like EU is dropping lower. Get my desk up here. Looking very good. Thank you, Liquid. I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate that. You know, my high time frame analysis and the levels have helped you. Really do appreciate that, and that's my goal. You know, try to give people a good foundation, and then when they have the foundation, they move on and they apply some of the things they've learned maybe on the lower time frames or the higher time frames. You know, but most of the time, what's happened is not everyone is going to be trading the same way, you know. And by the way, guys, I do actually have like a sneak peek, a slow start of the and I can't believe everything that I'm entering this week is just going straight in the right direction. Look at that. USD CHF straight up, no pullback. Gold continue lower. Euro USD continue lower. Looks like I'm able to soon perhaps secure this one. But I do have a little announcement. Have the Telegram channel, so I'm gonna put it in the chat, and if you can join that would be awesome. I'm also gonna rebrand the whole channel, and you'll see a lot of different things in the future here. Lots of changes. Okay, let's bring up the news. Do you have anything interesting going on? We got financial juice here. But what I first want to do is obviously look at the economic news calendar. So I go to my trading tools folder here. I got the fundamentals tool. You can't see that for some reason. That's weird. Where is the... Okay, for some reason I don't have the economic news calendar on there. Daily FX? No, it's Forex Factory, right? It's this one. So I have to add that to fundamental tools, and you can see that, but I got a folder here in the browser. You're the first subscriber. Thank you, both of you. You're gonna get a special prize. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe. 5 subscribers already. Holy shit! Wow. Getting famous. In that channel, I'll be sharing all my analysis, all the high time frame analysis. I'm going to be focused on the overall picture of the market, both from a fundamental perspective and a technical perspective. So here's the economic news calendar. This is for November the 10th to 16th. We'll go into look at the orange one. I want to look at not the yellow one, just the orange one. And here's the one. Okay. So today we have core PPI. Now that is going to come out at 2:30 today, and then at 7 in the evening, we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking. And then, of course, at 10, we had the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking, which obviously the Fed Chair Powell speaking is it's a major event for the USD and will obviously affect the Euro USD. And then before that, we have President Lagarde speaking for the European Central Bank, which is obviously an important news event as well for Euro USD. But then we have the core PPI, and let's take a closer look at. Yes, force factor is very good. Force factor is great. I do like the overlay of my FX book, not my daily FX. I like that one, the way it looks. So what is the core PPI? Let's talk about it while we look at the charts, I believe. No, let's look at it here. Have to remove that one. Give me a second. Gonna get some coffee. By the way, guys, I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna try to do these live streams every morning. I can't promise that I'm able to do it every morning, but I want to try to do these every morning, because not only like not only for you guys, I'm giving you guys, you know, completely free analysis and trade ideas here live, but it's also for me. It's a great way for me to, when I'm explaining my trade ideas and my trade bias to you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different. You have an idea and then you express that idea to someone else, and you might say, wait a minute, that's a stupid idea. That idea sounded much better in my head. And then you explain it to someone else and you're like, never mind, that's a bad idea, you know? So sometimes I explain my bias to you guys, and then I go like, wait a minute, that sounds really stupid, and then I have to change it, you know? So it's really helpful for me as well. Oh my God, I love coffee. Good God. Nothing better. You know, I go to bed at night and I'm like, I look forward to getting to like, there's two things I look forward to in the morning. It's the trades that I have open. I look forward to waking up, getting a cup of coffee, and looking at the trades that I have open overnight. Some people say they can't sleep when they have trades open overnight. I say they never had a trade like this open. It's running and running and running and running for a total of, we're almost up 300 pips on this one. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay. What is the PPI? So so today we have the core PPI, and PPI stands for Producer Price Index, and then you have the PPI month. I believe that's month to month, and then you have the unemployment claims. So the core PPI, Price Consumer Index, tracks the changes in prices of goods and services sold by producers, and it's excluding the food and energy. Yeah, like with I'm gonna say, so I think the best way to follow me and look at my analysis would be here on YouTube, and then it's gonna be on that Telegram channel as well. I would normally say Twitter, but Twitter is just all over the place and it's quite messy. But I would say that Telegram channel is gonna be more streamlined, more organized, better way to get the analysis out there, and then here on YouTube as well. So the core difference here between the PPI and CPI is the PPI numbers. Here the prices are calculated at the producer and the wholesale level, while CPI is the prices at the consumer or retail level. So talking about PPI, we have, producers and businesses, but with CPI we have consumers and households, right? And the PPI includes things like raw material, intermediate goods and wholesale prices, while the CPI has the final retail price paid by the consumers. And then the CPI will exclude things like, of course, wholesale prices and business costs, while the PPI will exclude taxes and retail markups and transportation costs and things like that. So you could say that the PPI is for the producer, while the CPI number is for the consumer. I would argue that CPI is more important for inflation, but the PPI is obviously, of course, also important metric for inflation. I think the PPI could provide more early signs of inflation. So the PPI numbers could influence and show early signs of inflation, and that could eventually impact the CPI numbers. And then the CPI numbers, they directly affect customers' purchasing power and central bank decisions. And that makes it more immediately impactful on the market. So I would say that PPI doesn't have as much of an impact on price that CPI has, but they're very closely related. So if we get, for example, a higher than expected PPI, that increases the expectations of a tighter monetary policy, and that would strengthen the USD and then lower risk assets like equity. So it's exactly the same as with CPI. And the PPI, not month to month, where you see that it says M/M, that is similar to the PPI, but this includes food and energy prices. So the core PPI excludes food and energy prices, just like the core CPI. And the reason why you remove the food and energy prices from the PPI is because that's quite volatile. Okay, so it could have to do with, like, food prices, for example, could have to do with seasonalities of the weather and things like that. So removing that gives a more stable look at what the core, what the PPI is. And then today we also have the unemployment claims, right? So the unemployment claims, it's going to track the number of people that is filing for unemployment benefits for the first time during the past week. Okay, so why do we care about that? As traders, we care about that because it gives us a good indication of the strength of the US economy. More people that are getting unemployed means the labor market is not doing as well. Of course, if there's not enough jobs to go around, it tells the story of the markets not, or the labor market not doing well. Now, high claims indicates economic weakness, while low unemployment claims, it tells you that there's a stronger labor market. So you could see the unemployment claims number as an inverse correlation with the health of the labor market. High unemployment numbers, weak market. Low unemployment numbers, a strong market. And the way that this works with the markets and on price is, if you have lower unemployment claims, that means you have a stronger job market, and this would increase the strength of the USD. And if you have higher claims, that means a weaker labor market, which would then weaken USD and raise concerns about an economic slowdown. That's the thing now, though, is the Fed wants to see the labor market slowing down, because that means that the economy is slowing down and it's not putting as much pressure on inflation. So a market that is very active and moving very rapidly, and it's low interest rate, that can very well push inflation higher. And when inflation increases, it puts pressure on the central bank to increase interest rates, because the central bank has a very powerful weapon, and that is increasing and decreasing the interest rates. And when they do that, it's a way for them, or a tool for them, to handle inflation. So a strong labor market supports higher interest rates. So if you're, for example, if you're long Bitcoin, or if you're long risk assets, you want to see a higher number in the in this case, you actually probably want to see a stable number, because in a scenario where we already have fairly high interest rates, and the whole risk on scenario is based on interest rates getting lowered, if we see that the labor market is becoming stronger, that means that it's actually going to put some pressure on the Fed to not lower interest rates as quickly, because they want to put a brake on the economy. So the effects of the numbers there's going to have different effects based on the scenario that we are in right now. So what we want to see is, we want to see a slightly weaker unemployment claims. So if we look at, for example, the Euro USD trade that I'm in right now, which is running surprisingly strong, and if we look at USD CHF as well, it's breaking out here, and I'm actually considering adding to this position, but I do think that we should see a pullback here, so I'm not going to be doing that. Looks like I might be able to start securing the Euro USD trade. Let's put this into context on the Euro USD position that we have right now. Let's say that the unemployment claims numbers comes in higher than expected. That means that there is a weakening of the US economy, and that should tell the Fed that inflation is gonna, there's probability that inflation is going to come down, and there's not more pressure to increase interest rates, and that should put risk assets higher. That means that Bitcoin will continue most likely to the upside. So a higher number means that Bitcoin is probably gonna hit that 100K. Bitcoin is gonna move higher. In the scenario on Euro USD, a higher number on the unemployment claims is maybe going to have the effect on Euro USD that it's slightly going to pause this down move. Okay, so a higher number, and we are going to see maybe a pause. A lower number, on the other hand, if we have a lower number than expected on the unemployment claims, that means that the US economy is doing better than expected. Okay, a lower number than expected means that the US economy is doing better than expected, and that puts some upwards pressure on inflation, and that tells the Fed, the Central Bank of America, that they might have to rethink the pace at which they are going to lower the interest rates, and that is going to push the USD even higher, and that will fuel a move to the downside. And if the numbers comes in as expected, we're going to see most likely a continuation of this move to the downside. So we can make some scenarios here, okay? Let's see. We got this one. Add a text to this. Or I can add, let's see if I can add a text to this. Oh, okay. So let's do this. We have that's unemployment coming in, unemployment numbers coming in as expected. And then unemployment numbers coming in lower than expected. That means that the US economy is doing well. And when the US economy is doing well, it puts pressure to on inflation, which we should see a big move to the downside. If the unemployment numbers comes in worse than expected, then that might mean we have a pause in this trend right here, just to give you guys an understanding of what we are in for. And I think any scenario should, I think in any scenario we're going to see EURUSD continuing lower, but the numbers are going to determine the volatility and the strength of the move to the downside. I think that gives an overview of what we're looking at. I'm if you're in the Telegram, I'm gonna these are the things that I'm gonna explain in more detail in text in Telegram. Sometimes it's just easier to explain this in text. You can do it in a more organized way. I'm gonna add the link to the Telegram in the description of the video. If you're watching the replay, you can go there. And we're shortly going to look at what else we have going on in the markets. So I guess the Fed Chair Powell is obviously going to speak at 9. I might actually go live at that time. It would be interesting to hear what he has to say, because he's obviously going to comment the CPI numbers. He's going to be commenting the PPI numbers. He's going to be commenting the unemployment claims, and it's going to be interesting to perhaps look at that speech live. See, where is he actually speaking though? He's going to participate in a panel discussion titled Global Perspectives at an event hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. Nine? No, I'm not going to be live at that time. No way. Okay, let's look at what do we have going on financial news, and all of these tools and everything that I'm using is obviously going to be shared in the Telegram as well. I'm also going to be renewing my newsletter for those of you who want more refined information in a neatly compact way, more summarized. I'm going to be starting sending out that newsletter again as well. Okay, so the business situation in China remains tense, it says here. The global oil market faces a million barrel glut in 2025. China's oil demand fell for the 6th straight month in September. It says here that they're predicting oil supply to exceed demand. Let's look at what oil is doing. I'm not trading oil, but it's definitely interesting to track it. Let's look at VTI. This is US oil. We're at the same lows right here. We had the live stream yesterday with Anastasia. She were able to, I believe, get in on this move to the downside. That's a really good move. I mean, we're still at the lows here. There's no. I think oil is a really good level here. Right, so the Dutch economy is doing better than expected, and quite a lot better than expected as well. Dutch consumer spending is much better than expected. Definitely see that the GDP, Dutch GDP is obviously doing quite well. Looks like the Spain CPI comes in as expected. Swedish CPI comes in as expected as well. But it does feel like the central banks around the world are getting getting to grips with inflation. You know, they're definitely in control. We see that inflation is not rising a lot. I also signed up for Atas. Now this is a trading platform for futures. You have crypto as well. It's not for forex trading, but I'm looking to see what type of level 2 data I can find for the forex futures, and then apply that level 2 data from the forex futures into the spot market or the CFD market that I'm trading with fibers, and see if it can add to my overall bias of the swing trades. It's gonna be interesting to show this, be able to show this, how this works and how I can apply this in my trading. I recommend that we look at Financial Juice. It's a very good website. So this is interesting. Traders increase their bets that the Fed will cut interest rates by another quarter point next month following inline inflation figures. Okay. Let's take a look at the trading economics. Let's look at the calendar here. Okay, so it looks like so this is definitely interesting information for the PPI numbers. Look at what the expected numbers are. So it's forecasted at 0.2. Let's look at what happened. So now I'll have to make some plans for what to do based on the numbers. I honestly think that in all three scenarios, EURUSD is probably going to continue lower, unless there's signs of inflation increasing way too much. But we saw with CPI that was not the case. And PPI, I believe, does not have the same level of effect. So then PPI comes first, right? So I think CPI is the important figure to go with here. So I don't think the PPI numbers are going to be very very interesting. Wow. Gold actually dropped lower here. Okay, we got a couple of questions here. I'm going to be sitting down for this one. Right, first question from Mr. Pingu, my dear penguin friend. What was the biggest mistake you made in your trading journey? Following a guru, using the wrong strategy, poor risk management, etc. All right, I think this is a really good question. I think my biggest mistake in my trading journey has always been, I think that's not a mistake, that's just a problem. But I'll address both of that. So the problem that I'm referring to is over risking and perhaps being a little bit too impulsive sometimes and not following the plan, having sort of a gambler's mentality where I see a setup. Sorry about that. So I might see a setup and I think, okay, this is not the perfect trade, but I'm gonna take it anyway. and then I take the trade, and then afterwards, obviously, it stops me out, and I'm like, why did I take that trade? So taking trades that are not perfect, taking trades where the analysis is not really aligning perfectly with everything else, things like that. I think, you know, being in that moment, it's about impulsivity, right? I'm a bit impulsive when it comes to that. I look at a setup and I'm like, there's a combination between being a bit impulsive and having that gambler's mentality where I'm putting the system aside, I'm putting the idea of probabilities aside, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just going to take this trade anyway. Just like you're in the casino and you're gambling and you're like, you're playing the roulettes or whatever, you're like thinking, you know, one more time, let's bet on this one, right? So I think, oh, look at that, we got Alex Unfiltered. Go follow him. He's I don't know what he's doing, but he got a channel and he's gonna you know, film himself going on vacations and sitting by the pool, half naked, things like that. We're probably as men here, so it's not really interesting. But maybe one of you out there would be super interested in that. Go follow him for content like that. Probably some trading content as well. He's probably gonna do some trading content as well. Gotta post this link. Got 25 subscribers. Let's bring that up to 100. Yeah, so that's the problem, right? And it's a major problem, and it's not really a mistake. I mean, that problem, I think the mistakes come from handling that or not handling that problem. You know, sometimes I get people asking me on Twitter and other places like here. They tell me that they have a problem, right? They tell me, oh, I entered this trade and then it hit stop loss and I took another trade and I'm over trading and I don't know what to do. Can you help me? You know? And what I first want to ask them is, what's your plan? Now, what's your plan to fix that? Because if you don't have even the start of a plan, you're just making the same mistake over and over again. What you need to do is you need to at least sit down and think about it, you know? Sit down with a pen and paper. I don't care. Like, just sit down and think about it and ask your questions like, why am I doing this? When am I doing this? What's happening when I'm doing this? Like, try to make a plan for how you should fix it. And then that's the only advice I can begin with, because the solution to those problems, I mean, these are psychological problems and it's huge, right? It's like, it's a very personal issue. You know, if I'm over trading because I'm stressed, because I'm, you know, something happened in my personal life, I obviously have to figure out how to fix the problems that I have in my personal life first. And that's the solution to the problem. And the beginning to that is sitting down and asking yourself, when is it happening? So, for example, maybe you see that you're over trading around news events. Well, then that's a core issue, and you have to create rules around that. Maybe stop trading around news events, right? It's very important that you look inside yourself for the solutions to these problems. That's not Henry's asking Alex if you're offering mentorship. No, he's not at this time, but I'm pretty sure that in the near-term future he'll tell you all about how to trade the Pakistani futures market. Specific course on that. Okay, but now I talked about the problem, and I haven't really talked about the mistakes. What are the biggest mistakes that you've made in your trading journey? Wow, this is such a, like, this is a massive this is a massive question, you know. I really have to think about this one. I would like to think that every mistake, everything I do is wow. You know, Victor from the Fivers live trading room. So usually on Thursdays this time at 11 we have a meeting, and this morning I said, okay, we're not gonna have a meeting because I think I have a meeting from today. I got meetings from 12 to 4. For some reason I got booked on lots of different things today. So I said in the morning, okay, we're not gonna have a meeting today. Thing is, he's in a country where in a way different time zone, so it's 5 a.m. for him now. So I kind of woke up, and I feel pretty bad about that. So yeah, I'm sorry, Victor. Sorry about that. You're probably not watching this live stream though, but sending, yeah. Okay, Mr. Penguin, you're back. Perfect. Let's cover this one right here. This is a really difficult question to answer. But what are some of the mistakes? So what are the again, like I said, every loss, every mistake, everything like that is a learning experience. So everything you do in the market is experience, and that experience is, creates the type of trader that you are. So I could say that, okay, one mistake I did was, not getting a mentor early enough, but I did get a mentor quite early. So and like one mistake could be I didn't create a trading plan when I should have had one. But then again, I created the trading plan with time. I could say one of the mistakes I did was not using proper risk management, but I am using proper risk management now. With time, I learned how to use risk management. So as long as you have a mindset of improvement, just continue with what you're doing. You're not going to understand everything from the beginning. It's going to take time. And I'm going to bring up another question on here screen. On here screen. What am I saying? I'm going to bring a question up on the screen. Another one, which kind of goes hand in hand. So you'll make mistakes, but I don't think there's going to be one mistake that kind of defines you. I think what will define you as a trader is how you handle these mistakes. You're not going to be able to avoid the mistakes I did just because I tell you about the mistakes. Now, I can tell you, yeah, don't do stupid shit. You're going to do that anyway. I can tell you, use good risk management, but some days you're going to take that risk management plan and throw it out the window. It's all about how do you manage your mistakes. So I think it's going to take time. It will take a different amount of time for everyone. So how long did it take for me? When did I decide to go full time? I think instead of answering, how long did it take me to become profitable, I think the best question is how long did it take me to go full time? Because that's, it's a huge difference. You to go full time, you need to, and let me explain what I mean by all of this. So I started in the beginning of 2017. I started not trading, but I started getting interested in trading. I started investing in Bitcoin in the beginning of 2017, and I bought Bitcoin. I saw prices go up. I bought a couple of altcoins. Prices just went up, and then I went on Twitter. I went on Twitter into the into the Twitter sphere, the crypto Twitter, right? And I saw that people are posting all these sorts of all these sorts of different charts of technical analysis, and I looked at that and I said, you know what? It seems that people are actually able to put lines on a chart and make money from it. Just absolutely insane, right? Put a horizontal level somewhere, like I had no idea what I was looking at, and then all of a sudden they just were able to make money from that. Just absolutely crazy, right? So I thought that looked like magic, but I want to learn about it. So I started following people. Maybe that's one of the mistakes I did. I followed people on Twitter thinking that they were professionals, but all they were just influencers shilling low cap altcoins to their followers, getting paid to post a chart of an altcoin. And I think me being stupid, thinking that, all right, these guys that really know what they're talking about, they've done their analysis, I'm going to be going into this product, and then they get paid to pay that, they get paid to post that, they get paid in tokens from the product. So when I enter the market and everyone else that is following them, they enter the market and then they dump on their followers. So I'm left with a bag. I'm now going from, buying this as a speculative asset to not being a long-term community holder, right? Community member. So I think that is one of the major mistakes I did, but that's in crypto. So how can we apply this to Forex? I think it's the same thing with Forex. One of the things that are very dangerous to do in the beginning is thinking that one person or one strategy is all you need to be profitable in trading. So look at ICT, for example. Now, I don't care if you're trading ICT. I don't care if you love ICT. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't like ICT. I think it's all bullshit. But you might love it. Like the same. Maybe you voted for Kamala. Now I don't know why the fuck anyone would do that, but I wouldn't. But maybe you did. And we can be friends anyway, You're just a little bit behind, probably. No, we can be friends, I don't care if you whatever you trade. So let's say you're trading ICT, right? And you're like, okay, this is the system that I'm going to be trading for, and you want to be going full time. And going full time trading is like at least 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 years in the market. And you're thinking, this is the system I'm going to be trading. I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to be profitable with this. But what if after 6 months you see that it starts to fail and you're so inclined in believing that this is my future, this is the system that I'm going to be trading, and I'm going to be trading this, specific Forex pair and everything, right? And then you see that system starts the alpha, that there's alpha decay in that system. The edge is deteriorating. You're not making as much money with that system as you did before. You need to be open-minded to the idea that technical analysis is universal, right? There's going to be a lot of different names for a lot of different concepts out there, but it's all the same. A retest of a fair value gap is just a break and retest a lot of times. An order block is just support and resistance. It's all the same. It's all the same. As long as you understand horizontal levels and market structure, you can call it whatever you want. I don't care. The markets are a slave to the principle of supply and demand. And supply and demand is easily recognizable on the chart with horizontal levels, sometimes also trend lines, but most of the time major horizontal levels. If you're able to apply the very foundational principles of technical analysis, which can be found by just reading a book on, the Dow Jones theory or the Dow theory, understanding the idea of accumulation and distribution and how markets trends and how they move level to level, then you have that foundation, because that's very much necessary. Because when the system trust me, I've traded a system that is no longer profitable. I've had systems that I was trading in 2017 that is no longer profitable because the market is not functioning within the same principles that it did in 2017. If you're trading on the 1 hour today, 5 years later, you might be trading on the 4 hour. You change as a person, and so should your system change with you, and the market starts changing, and you need to change with the market. So that's one of the mistakes I believe that I did in the beginning. I followed these big accounts on Twitter, and I'm like, yeah, this is a legend, and I looked at his name, like having, you know, 1 million followers or whatever, and he's posting the charts all day, and I'm like, this guy has to be like, this is the real deal. Like, he has to be like, he's probably a multi-millionaire. And then I'm thinking, if this guy is like a multi-millionaire that doesn't need money, and I'm following him for advice, and he's just sitting on Twitter posting every hour of the day, just hundreds of tweets every day, just all time, just tweeting, and then he starts chilling products that are like low cap shit coins that no one cares about. Then you got to think about that. That is not the behavior of a independent, financially free, wealthy person. That's the behavior of someone who's desperate for money, right? And you as the follower, following the free content, you're the product, right? So you're getting chilled to buy the products, right? And the same thing kind of goes with trading systems, right? You buy into the idea of a trading system. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not really promoting a specific system anymore. Now, I have 2 different systems that I'm trading that are both profitable, but I'm changing with it as a person, right? So I have the RZ method, which is a very simple system, a trend following system, and applied in the right way, it works quite well. I'm kind of pivoting away from that though, because I feel like I don't feel like trading with it. I feel like it's just not really what I want to be doing. And then I have the one that I'm trading with a negative risk to reward, and I think that feels much better for me at this point in the market cycle. And then we have this more swing trading approach. So I'm very fluid in the way I'm trading. I'm not sticking to one system every year. I'm kind of, not system hopping, but I'm choosing different ways of trading depending on the market structure and the overall macroeconomics. And I think you need to do the same. So you need to be very fluid. But there's a couple of things where you should not be fluid, okay? And that is with risk management. Okay, so you need to be ever changing as a trader, but never with your risk management. And that is, I think, a key aspect here. Never risk too much. Never risk too much. Yeah, sometimes some things it's just gonna take time, it's just gonna take time, and you have to allow yourself to fail. You really do have to allow yourself to fail. You have to allow yourself to lose money. Let's take a look at the Euro USD is obviously moving down quite rapidly. I think it might be time to move the stops down a little bit on this one. I only have one position left. I think it's time to move it down here. I think that's the last time I'm going to move it. Adjusting that Euro USD. Updating in the changing fine with that one. I'm gonna update on Discord. Right, so that's the Euro USD adjusted. Then we have USD CHF. I mean, it feels like there's nothing stopping this at this point. It's insane. If it breaks out here and starts trending to the upside again, I'm just gonna add. I'm gonna add to this position. I feel like I kind of want to add to this position now, but obviously I'm already in with quite a lot of risk. Oh man, I have a meeting coming up. I gotta prepare for that meeting. All right, guys. Thanks for joining here today. Very, very cool to have you all in here. Very nice engagement for you guys today. I love the questions. Please, you know, feel free to come on to the future live streams and ask these questions. And of course, I'm gonna update you on all that I'm doing in the markets as well. And I hope to see you all in the next live stream as well. Tomorrow, I'm doing a live stream with Dirk. We're gonna be on this channel as well, and we're gonna be focusing on Bitcoin most likely. Dirk is a long-time professional trader. He's the real deal. Like, he's been managing money for banks, institutional traders, hedge funds. He's had his own, you know, family fund for a very long time. He's been trading for, I believe, over 25 years now. He has an insane wealth of knowledge, so make sure that you come on that live stream and ask all the questions that you want in terms of trading, because that guy is really, yeah, just a wealth of knowledge and overall a good guy. So make sure you come into that one. It's going to be at 1 hour later, so at 10 in the morning my time, which is now it's 11:17, so 1 hour and 17-minute back is when that one is starting tomorrow. Make sure that you join that one. All right, guys. Thanks for joining, and see you all tomorrow.